In today's episode, Shane asks, which SEO trend helped you dominate search results and generate more revenue? Well, unsurprisingly, the advanced use of machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies have helped us grow our own company and our clients' businesses significantly over the last couple of years, really in the last year or so. We've done SEO research and analysis and trend identification for a number of different companies in all sorts of crazy industries. And probably the biggest thing that has been helpful in that has been what we call content forecasting. Using predictive analytics, it's been a slam dunk. So you take known search trends, because we have the data for it in the past, for keywords, phrases, ideas, topics, and then forecast forward, and identify when is search volume likely to increase for those terms in the future on a week-by-week basis. When you do that, you time your SEO efforts not only with what people are interested in, but also when they are interested in it. And that is incredibly valuable because you time your SEO efforts to make sure you've got content in market and indexed in advance of when the algorithms need it to be able to show it. You time it with your social content, you time it with your email, you time it with your paid per click SEM, whatever you use for planning, this technology helps inform. Now, that said, since this is a question about SEO trends for 2020, that's what was. That was the past. And it's still good. It's still important. But what's coming is going to require SEO practitioners who want to continue winning to really kick it up to that next level notch. You need to understand and be reading and researching alongside what the big companies are doing. Microsoft and their Bing service, Google, of course, other major search engines, Baidu, and see what technologies they are publicly saying they're working on, which means that they've already got some version of it working internally, and we just have to catch up. There are three areas of technology to pay attention to. Number one is improvements in multilingual natural language processing. There is a strong bias in natural language processing towards the English language, even though English is not the language that the majority of the world's population does things like search in, right? You have 1.5 billion Chinese people. You have 1 billion and change Indian people who speak Hindi or Urdu and various dialects. You have all these other languages in the world, but search engines in the past have not been real good about improving their technologies to cover multiple languages as well as they do English, because again, so many of the technology companies are based in America and there is a definite bias towards the English language. But we are seeing massive changes on that front. We really have been for a couple of years now. These massively pre-trained models that companies are releasing, like Google's BERT and OpenAI's GPT-2, and many of these other ones, are starting to really, really do incredible stuff at the multiple language layer, particularly Google's BERT. Having pre-trained models in different languages is a huge step forward for any region where English is not the dominant language. If you're an SEO practitioner and you care about or want to do business in markets where English is not the dominant language, you have a unique opportunity to leap forward if you can also use these models to predict and forecast the types of content that you need to create in order to take advantage of a local market. So that's number one. Number two, Google released some research earlier this year on question answering and the ability for an AI algorithm, to naively interpret a question and provide a solid answer. And naively means it was not specifically trained for just that task. It's just given a bunch of questions and it has to go and find matches of answers to those questions. Now, what does that mean for SEO? Well, obviously, it means that Google is looking at answering questions in their entirety. Where do we see this? Of course, we see this with things like Google Assistant on Google Home and stuff like that. When you say, okay, Google, you don't say an SEO keyword phrase. You say, okay, Google, when is the barbershop down the street open? Right? That is a full language construct as opposed to barbershop hours near me. Right? You don't say that when you talk to a smart assistant. And smart assistants have taken over a huge chunk of the search market. So because we know that question answering is a big deal, if you are not doing your research on question answering and building language that can answer questions and having it be indexable in an incredible way, you're missing an opportunity. You can double dip on this stuff, right? You can build a page or a series of pages that answer the question in its entirety, plus variations, plus the keywords. You just have to do that at scale, because now instead of trying to predict, barbershop hours near me, you have to forecast and predict and understand the language that people are going to use to ask about the barbershop nearest them. So you, as an SEO practitioner, have to dig in super, super detailed and use machine learning to create rational question constructs that you then have to provide answers for. I would not be surprised if one or more SEO vendors comes up with a system that programmatically does this for you. Keep an eye on the big players, right? I use Ahrefs. There's SEMrush, SpyFu, Moz, Bright Edge. All these major companies should be offering these technologies. They already offer like basic question stuff, but pay more attention to the questions features in each of these tools and start using them to create content at scale. And the third thing are massive pre-trained models, especially those that are looking at sentence level encoding. You're like, what does that mean? That's a bunch of technology words. Sentence level encoding is a part of natural language processing that deals with the entities of language. Go back to what we're talking about, the difference between a question and the difference between a keyword. Keywords are not how we speak. We, as humans, speak in sentences. For the most part. There are some politicians who can't seem to put four words together, but we speak in sentences. And up until now, a lot of natural language processing software really has done a focus on words, which they call tokens, or combinations of words called n-grams. And now we're looking really at sentences and paragraphs and larger language constructs as these tools gain more attention to the type of network or awareness of the context in which these phrases exist. And so you as an SEO practitioner need to be skilling up on your technology to be looking at tools that can deal with sentences and paragraphs as opposed to words and phrases. So that's what's coming in 2020. That's what's happening now that you need to be catching up for in 2020 if you want to be the most advanced, the most impactful, the highest revenue generating and most result dominating SEO practitioner. That's what you're going to need to be working on between now and 2020. So you got some time. It's September as I record this. Get skilled up, get trained up, learn this stuff, or work with a partner. Shameless plug. This is what we do at Trust Insights to build these capabilities for yourself. As always, great question. Please leave your follow-up questions in the comments. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the newsletter, and I'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.